Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social, in association with William Hill, Empire Fight Store. Always a pleasure to be joined by Shane McGuigan. Shane, we've just seen Caroline Dubois put on a dominating performance against a seasoned pro. She's gone in there, got a knockdown, got the points victory, picked up that world title, that first step, that first big milestone in her career. How pleased are you as the trainer with her performance there?
Oh, amazing. With so little fights underneath her belt and being so young, 22 years of age, she had it all in that fight. It was a small ring. It was like a phenomenal atmosphere. York Hall always is with the balconies looking in. You feel like they're right on top of you. So got hit with a couple of good shots early on, but didn't phase her, didn't lose her game plan, stuck to her boxing and adjusted throughout the fight and got 2 knockdowns, but one was a sensational right hook that dropped her. And I think, she even dealt with an opponent that spat the gum shield out twice, was holding, trying to kill a second here and there. And these are all the things you've got to learn on the development to becoming a great fighter.
I was going to say, although it's always nice to get an early night, and I think she seems to carry that spite, I suppose the fact that she's gone the rounds and she's seen a few different things, like the opponents try to mess her about at it, because you get that at the highest level, a bit of gamesmanship, a bit of, can I get into your head if things aren't going well for me? Are you more pleased with that as a trainer, that you've seen that she's got the power, you've seen she can box, move, dibbing in and out, her range was near perfect most of the night? Is that more pleasing for you? Because now you know when she needs to go to the trenches, she can go there.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, as I said, she showed everything tonight. Had to fight short at times, nullified her at distance, moved her head when the barrages of punches. I mean, those Mexicans, they really put their combinations together and try to knock your head off. So, these are all things that were always going to be coming her way. It's just how she dealt with it. And as I said, I've said it in previous interviews, it's about the fighters that can adjust in hard situations. They're the ones that become great fighters and go on to successful nights.
Well, she's 22 years of age and seems to be adjusting. She almost fights like she's, I say, 28 to 30, like that she's in an absolute pomp. I spoke to your dad and he's waxing lyrical about it, saying she's going to be an absolute superstar. She'll beat all these top girls. How confident are you now that she can take that step up again and start fighting what we all call like the major belts in boxing? Obviously the IBO is a great key, it's a great doorway into these bigger fights, but you're confident now that one of them big names pops up. We know she was linked with Michaela Mayer and things like that, but you're confident, chuck her in, let's go.
Yeah, I just think, I want Caroline to become a lightweight world champion. I don't, Michaela Mayer's at a different stage of her career. She's been a super featherweight world champion, and then she's now looking at moving up to 140 or 147. Those are the fights that she's probably chasing different opposition. Obviously, we made a big sort of statement to say, Caroline will box her next, but she doesn't really want the fight. And to be honest, I don't really blame her. I don't think a lot of people are going to, but with the right platform behind her, she's on Sky Sports. She's going to be headlining. She's 22. The governing bodies are sitting there with Katie Taylor as their main champion, but she's now not defended it within a specific amount of time, and I think they're going to be pressing her to say, look, we've got this young fighter coming through that we really want to fight for our belt, and it depends what Katie Taylor wants to do, but if she vacates one of those belts, we'll be first in line.
Well, just before we come on to other matters, I know this has been a bit of a logistical nightmare for you. You've been bouncing back and forth. I heard you say to one of the other guys, never again. Ellie Scotney tonight, I believe, she impressed. I mean, I was here, so I didn't see the performance, but a clear victory for her. Pleased that you both got the victory, but in terms of doing this to split on one night, never again?
Yeah, only because, it's like these girls train so hard, and Ellie and Caroline, and they train so hard. Specifically Ellie as well, because she, at the end of the fight, you're rushing out and you feel, Chris is there, he's there and he's looking after her, and, it was just a logistical issue. We tried our best and we're trying to get Ellie to go onto the October 7th show. And actually, originally there was talks that there was going to be a September 23rd show with Matchroom, and that one fell through. So, we were a little bit, I was a little bit frustrated that I had to rush off, but at the same time I was happy with her performance. And Ellie's naturally very critical on herself, always wants the best.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. You want to strive for perfection, but sometimes you've got to sit back and actually appreciate, you know, your performances and what you've done. And she boxed brilliantly for 4 rounds, and then it got a little bit messy after 5th. But then she held her form and boxed well. It's just against the opponent she was in against, like very tough and applying a lot of pressure and just like novice-y. But it's hard. It is genuinely hard to look good against those people that are just rushing you like that. But you know, she won 10 rounds on one scorecard with 1 shared and then 9 on the other.
It's been a good night for both girls. I know this is going to seem a bit monotonous, but I've got to ask you because it only came out yesterday, but Undisputed signed Fury, Usyk. We've not got an official date yet. Rumours are the 23rd. Heard it could be early January. I suppose it depends on the Ngannou situation, as daft as it may seem. But good for boxing. We're getting to hopefully see that fight. As a obviously trainer, as a fan of the sport, happy that we're getting to see it.
Of course, you've always got to be happy that you're going to see the big fights. I mean, do I think it? Am I as excited about Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk as I was when, you know, Tyson Fury versus AJ was on the horizon? No, because I feel like, you know, skill-wise, Fury's naturally a boxer and Usyk's naturally a counter-puncher boxer as well. So I think they're going to nullify each other. I don't think it's going to be an amazing fight. And as someone in boxing, I want every single person on the street to love boxing, and I want people like, you know, to be tuning into that fight and not get to the end of it and go, oh, do you know what? It's not an amazing fight. Just a bit like Manny Pacquiao was versus Mayweather. This is the opportunity that we're going to get eyeballs from every single country that's going to be tuning into it, and I hope that it delivers as a fight. But I'm not convinced.
Eddie, you said for Tyson Fury to become an all-time great, he needs to fight Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. But Tyson Fury has beat Vladimir Klitschko, who's undefeated for 10 years, beat Wilder 2, but in many people's eyes technically 3 times, 2 knockouts and 1, I think everyone would admit, should have been a convincing points win. In your eyes, if he goes and beats Usyk, does that make him the best of this era, or does he still have to beat Joshua?
Definitely the best of this era. Do I think he's, you know, better than the era of, like, I mean, Klitschko was a different era, and before that Lennox was a different era, and I think would he have survived, would he have had it as easy if he'd have been boxing Holyfield, Lennox and Riddick Bowe? There's different caliber. Those fighters are different fighters. You know, I mean, you can't go saying that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. No, not at all. And every single era of boxing, if you look at someone like Joe Louis, you know, 19 world title defences. I think it was 26 world title fights. But really, he was like, could have done cruiserweight in today's weight categories. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you just got to let them be for where they are. And Tyson Fury in his era has done a phenomenal job, but he does need to get that victory against Usyk. Whether he needs to box AJ or not really. He just needs to get that victory against Usyk. Right,
and final one for me. I've asked everyone this: fighters, trainers, promoters. If you could make one fight in boxing as a fan, not necessarily from your stable, and now Fury and Usyk's over the line. You could put them together, don't matter if they're a weight apart, what you would tune into 4 a.m, pay your money for, who would it be? In terms of active fighters right now?
Active fighters right now, sorry. Boots, Ennis versus Crawford. Just because I love that weight category.
That is, for a hardcore boxing fan, an absolute dream. Look, I've not had that one yet, but look, thank you for that. Appreciate your time. I'll let you go and enjoy this victory with Caroline.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.